I want to tell you where the $2 bill story actually came from. My $2 bill story, the real story, not the metaphor. Because for most of my life, I was living it without knowing I was living it. So it starts really in 2024, although it has been part of my whole life. I had just left the day-to-day of Hollywood. You know my stats, 22 years, 4 Emmy nominations, $2 billion in content. And I was sitting at home trying to figure out what came next. So what did I do? I picked up a book by Jesse Cole, founder of the Savannah Bananas, one of my biggest entrepreneurial heroes. And in that book, Jesse tells a story about a speaker named Al Fadden. Al used to throw $2 bills into the crowd when he would enter a room, and he'd say, normal will get normal results. Different allows you to stand out and get amazing results. And I read that paragraph, something happened. Not excitement, but a flood. Like a door opened to a part of my life I hadn't walked through in years. My grandmother's name was Charlotte, and in Judaism, there's a tradition called Shaliach Mitzvah, and the idea is simple. You give money to someone who is about to travel, so they can give it away to someone in need at their destination, and that traveler becomes a messenger, a carrier of good, and in doing so, they're thought to merit extra protection on the journey. So when I started traveling on my own, I got $52 bills, 50. And every time I traveled, I took one with me, looking for the moment to give it to someone who needed it. And every single time I handed one of those $2 bills out, it reminded of her, of how she was always looking for someone to help, that the $2 bill wasn't money. It was her way of saying, I see you. You are worth a moment that stops everything. You're not ordinary. You're worth noticing. And then she passed away. She was in a coma and she passed away suddenly. And without her passing the way she did, I would have never met the woman who became my wife. She was at the hospital when my grandmother was in a coma. She's my sister's best friend. She stood by my grandmother's side for 40 of the last 48 hours of her lived life. And then on the night of the funeral, a relationship started. There's more to the story, but it's the highlight reel. And got married and then had a daughter. And the daughter was named after my grandmother. The daughter's name is Charlotte. Today I live in Charlotte. That $2 bill has always been my life. Just didn't have a name for it yet. So after 22 years in Hollywood, every show I developed, every pitch I sat in, every human being I put in front of a camera, my job was to find the one specific, true, impossible to copy thing about that show. The thing that made it impossible to look away from. 60 days in. Was it the best crime show? I don't know. But it was the only show where civilians went undercover in a real jail. Couldn't look away. Duck Dynasty? Was it the all-time best reality show? I don't know, you tell me. But it was the only show about a bearded, God-fearing, duck call-making family from Louisiana. Intervention. Was it the best reality show? Was it the best documentary? It was the only show that captured real life-saving family interventions in real time. Saving a family, one episode, one human, one person who deserved a second chance in life. I don't know if any of those shows were the best, but they certainly were the only. And that was the $2 bill instinct. I've been using it my entire career. I just never had a name for it. So when I read Jesse Cole's book that day in 2024, I sat there for a long time thinking about Charlotte, about the $50 bills, about the way my grandmother always looked for someone worth stopping for, about the floods and the fires and the losses and the shows, about my daughter carrying her name, about the city I live in carrying her name. And I realized something. This was never a metaphor I invented. This was a truth I'd been living. I just finally had the words for it. Here's why I'm telling you this today, because you have the same thing, not the same story, your story. The specific, true, impossible to copy thread running through your entire life and career, the thing that was true about you before you had a single credential to put on a page. You have been living your $2 bill the whole time. You just haven't named it yet. It's not a motivational statement. That's a fact. Every client I have worked with, every only statement I have helped build, the answer was never something new. It was always something that had been there the entire time, waiting for someone to finally say it out loud. Charlotte gave people $2 bills to say, I see you. And FindYourOnly.app exists for the same reason, to find the thing that is already there, to put words on it, to hand it to you and say, this is what makes you impossible to look away from. Go to FindYourOnly.app, say questions. It's free. You'll get through it in under 8 minutes. You're going to get your only statement. And then you'll have an opportunity to go further with me, where I further develop that only statement with you, find what's holding you back, and give you written options to deploy. A lot of options, a whole deliverable. I get to spend about 60 minutes with you, if you so choose. Your life can change. Many of them had, because they were willing to put themselves forward. I built FindYourOnly.app because of Charlotte, because of $52 bills I was handed before I knew what they meant, because normal will get normal results, and you are not normal. You are the $2 bill. You've always been. Go to FindYourOnly.app, 8 questions under 8 minutes. This is the week you name it. Be the only. Be the $2 bill.